part 8 of a 9-part series on how to run the perfect estate and letting agency with John Paul and his magic book, Agency Roadmap. He's down here, and basically what we're doing is we're skimming the whole of the cream off the book so you guys don't have to buy it in estate and letting agency land. And part 8 talks about leadership. Come on, mate, don't reinvent the bloody wheel. Talk to me.
What about leadership?
Yeah.
Leadership's massively important in a business, because if you don't have a leader or somebody to look up to who motivates and inspires your team, then it's basically like a ship without a captain. So for me, leadership is massively important. So much so that I'm doing a master's on leadership. I've done a
Follow the leader.
Not quite like that, but it's not far off it. So I've got a massive passion on leadership and what makes a good leader. But it's imperative to have a leader in your business.
What does good leadership look like?
A couple of things is you need to have a really good communicator. It was the Carnegie Institute that said leadership is 85% communication, 15% technical ability. So communication is massive. Somebody who lives and breathes the organisation as well.
Okay. Does that have to be you?
No.
Because you've got Adele, which
Yes.
basically, yeah.
So she's the leader and she runs the business, which allows me to do things like this and
Lovely.
training, developing other agents and rent to own and buying and acquiring other businesses.
I mean, would that work if you're a one-man band with a couple of negs and a valuer?
Absolutely. So you can have other people. The idea is to develop a leadership-centric business. So develop a business where somebody runs the business for you, and that gives you options to do what you want, when you want, how you want.
So basically bringing a leader in is making yourself redundant, which means you can often do your passions of collecting Lego or whatever.
And you can still work in the business if you wish, but at the minute you haven't got an option. You have to work in it. It's there. You've got to turn up for work every morning until do a full day. But by having somebody else in the business, you can work outside it.
Does that have to be a mini me, that person?
No, it shouldn't be a mini you. It should be 100% shouldn't be you.
And how do you spot I know you go into a lot of detail in the book, how do you spot those traits for a leader?
Emotional intelligence is massively important. So somebody who's
Empathy, that sort of thing.
empathy, self-awareness, self-regulation, social skills, communication ability. Somebody they're very good
You
at
can't
communicating.
train that, can you?
You can get better at it. There's some people that have got quite high levels of it, natural, and there's other people who have to work at it.
Okay.
But you can get better at it. It's the same with everything. You can get better at it.
Okay, so you need to have a certain base level of skill to get better at it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and is that something that you send these people on training courses, or do you train it, or a bit of both?
It's a bit of both, really. So you can learn. I think it's the same with a lot of things. Is if you can identify what you need in order to be better at your job, then as an individual you can take responsibility and you can get better at it. Being good at communication skills, if you thought you were a good communicator and it was just highlighted to you that you weren't, then you can go on the public speaking courses or communication courses.
How do you, I mean, is that a case of getting a mentor or a coach to do that? Is that important?
That's one way of doing it, but you can do it by yourself. You know, there's some really good training and development courses out there, so you don't necessarily need a coach and a mentor to do that. But as long as you take some responsibility for your own actions, I think that's the critical key to this.
And what are these 5 levels of leadership that you talk about in this book?
So there's a chap called John Maxwell. So if you follow him, he's an American guy, and he just talks about the 5 levels of leadership, about where you start on the bottom and you've got to go through the various levels to get to the ultimate, which is the pinnacle.
Okay, so he says level 1 is position.
So people follow you because of you've got a title, MD or business owner. They don't respect you, but they will follow you because you own the business or you are where you are.
Level 2 is permission.
So they want to follow you, they give you permission, and they follow you because they want to.
Level 3, production.
Because of what you've done for the business. So you've hit targets. You were very good at what you did at one point in your business.
Level 4, people development.
Because you develop other leaders. You'll have heard leaders develop other leaders.
Yes.
So again,
I've seen those those little meme stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. It's exactly that. Yeah.
And finally, level 5, the pinnacle.
Because of what you've done for the industry. So people,
on a macro level.
It's very, very macro. So these are the types of people that can come out of one industry and be as a managing director of another big company in another industry to another one. So it's what they've achieved. It's effectively those people that walk in the room and everyone goes, "There's Chris Watkin. Wow, he's awesome." It's that type of person.
Never do that.
Well, I do, Chris. I do.
Oh, bless you, much. Well, that's the end of part 8. Let's now move on to part 9, which is the final section, which is my favourite section, prospecting. Look at this. This is the best bit. So we'll see you on the other side for part 9 when it comes to talking about prospecting.